Welcome to Try Out Tuesday. My name's Bev, and tonight we're going to be doing some art journaling. So if that sounds like your thing, please have a seat and we will get started. If you are catching up with this live video later, feel free to fast forward until I begin making, because I do like to just hang on a few moments just to see who's going to join me tonight. Okay, so don't feel like you have to if you're catching up. But while you're waiting, you could just click that like and subscribe button. That'll do me a solid. Okay, so tonight I'm going to be art journaling. I'm going to be using some catalyst cards, various different inks and things like that, and of course some Bee Crafty stamps. So if I'm quite excited about it, I won't lie, because it's just one of my favourite things to do. Saying that, it's paper and ink, so whatever I'm making will be my favourite thing to do. I'm quite easily pleased, really, you know. Just a bit of paper craft. So I won't lie, it was only when I was going live that I realised that I am once again art journaling in my pink book. I didn't realise how much I have been favouring it of late. But I've committed, I prepped and everything. So, you know, we'll just have to embrace it. If you haven't seen me art journaling this book before, go back just a couple of videos. I've done several recently. It would appear February seems to have been the month of the pink book, so next month I will start something else. And we've done several pages using the Bee Crafty palette. As you can see in this book, this is what I call my out of book, which is what I've called this week's Try Out Tuesday, because what I do is I art journal out of the book and then I stick in the book. And I'm loving these clean edges. It's probably the only time I get to achieve that sort of result. Okay, so we are art journaling, but we are art journaling out of book, which is what I use that pink book for. Okay, so what I've done is I've already cut a piece of catalyst card. So this is from our catalyst card set 2 in grayscale. If you haven't seen our catalyst cards, please hang on over, whiz on over, surf on over at some point to the Bee Crafty website, and you'll be able to see those. So these are a lightweight, high quality card, and all the patterns, they're in full colour or in grayscale. And I do think when you're art journaling, I think sometimes the blank page can be quite intimidating and you don't really know where to start. So the grayscale is a fantastic place, even if you're not planning on a grayscale page. Okay, they take ink really, really well. You're not going to disturb the printed pattern, so you don't have to worry about that. But it just gives you that point where you don't have to, you're not looking at this blank page wondering where to start. Okay. Oh, Pippa, don't lurk in the background. Definitely speak up. Hello, everyone else as well. Hi, Moira, Alison, and everyone else watching the live. So I thought, keeping with obviously how I've been art journaling out of book and then into my pink book, we would use the Bee Crafty palette this week. Now, the Bee Crafty palette, I have noticed, for example, Moira was saying today she missed the post yesterday where I put on the colours, etc., that I use. Now, if you go back and look on either Facebook, Instagram, or here on YouTube on the posts section, what I try to do is I'll do the first thing on a Monday morning, I'll do a picture of the palette, which has the 5 colours just on its own. And then later on, I'll put a picture of the ink pads I have that I think work best with the palette. And then some stamped and coloured images, etc., showing how I've put them together. Okay, those posts. So if, for example, if you get to tea time on Monday and you haven't seen that post, it will be there. Just head to the Bee Crafty Facebook page and you will see it, or Instagram, etc. Okay, so what I'm going to do... So the colours I have picked that I think best go with this week. Okay, it does have a grey in it, so I've got a Lost Shadow, but I suppose this could cover the grey. Cracked Pistachio, Mermaid Lagoon. Now, the purpley colour in there, it is quite a dusty one. So I've gone with Dusty Concord, which I don't seem to have in a 2x2 distress ink pad. I was sure I did, but can I find it? Can I heckers like? So I've got that there, and I've got some of the others in these. I also think these Versatile Fine Clair Strawberry and Barley Blue. I think that's a really, really good match to the blue that's in the colour palette this week. So anyway, I hope you're really enjoying the palettes. This one, last week's, I think was possibly one of the easiest palettes so far. It was really, really bright, really vibrant, loads of colour, kind of easy to pick from. This week, I will admit, I found it a touch more challenging, but I like that because that means I'm putting together colours that I wouldn't have necessarily always thought of putting together myself, which I really, really like. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use possibly just my 4 minis, I think, and we'll build up some colour that way. So I'm going to start with, I'm going to do them individually, I think. No, I'm not. So I'm going to go with my cracked pistachio first, and then I have to say, I think some of my minis are starting to struggle with the hard life I give them. Some of them might need replaced soon, but we'll see. And then we'll get a mister and we're just going to spritz that on. We're just going to get it, as you see, I'm going quite over the top, lots of water because I really want them to sort of smush into each other. And we're just going to press down onto our pattern side of our grayscale. Okay, now because I've added so much water, that is sort of like a light hue. But that's okay, because we can always add more. Okay, but I'm going to dry between layers. Now, I remember once, I'm going to name drop here, I was being taught by Tim Holtz himself. Yeah, I know. And he said, you only ever go back into the ink a maximum of 3 times. I think the man's a genius. I think he's fabulous, but absolutely no, I'm not doing that. I'll go in loads of times. Okay. Because I love the sort of water droplet look, those little dotty bits. They're just so pretty. Now, like I say, this is a lightweight cardstock, so if you throw as much water at it as I am, you will get a little bit of crunkliness, but that's nothing to worry about because I'm going to stick it flat into the book later anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Okay. But yeah, you can see that Dusty Concord is sort of like a purple with a greyish hue to it, which I really like. Now obviously if you're using your oxides, when you add water to them they oxidize anyway, so that sort of still works, whether you're using your Villainous Potion or something like that. But I really wanted to get the colour as close as I could. Right, I'm gonna go for another one. No, we won't go for another one. We'll add in some more colour, so let's just wipe that off. My blending mat. I have been asked recently if we're going to be putting the big blending mats back in stock. As with everything in 2026, prices have skyrocketed and all this sort of thing, and 350 micron Mylar is no exception to that. So we are basically looking for another supply so we can do it in the big sheets for a similar sort of price. Okay, Alison, you found week 5 palette, and this is the thing, isn't it? You just can't tell. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit more blue, and then, but I'm just going to add in a hint of red this time, and then we're going to go again, but I'm not going to mist quite as much. I'm going to, well, not with that mister anyway, it's run out of water. That's where I'll probably find I've misted too much more. And then we're going to rotate our sheet of card to add in some colours in other places. Okay. Ah, yes. Lovely. Okay, so we can see that cracked pistachio is actually showing its face a little bit better this time. We've got those little speckles of red. And then we've got some blue on top of that Dusty Concord. Absolutely stunning. Week 5 palette. See, now I'm trying to remember week 5's palette off the top of my head. Was that the other one with red in it? Oh, look at all these speckles. See those speckles, honestly, just love it. Love it. Obviously, if you're looking for a more blended look, you just add more water. But the speckles are where it's at for me, once I've got my base colours on. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to take... Ooh. Again, my microfiber, and just clean up that excess. I would, don't shout at me, I would normally get another piece and mop all that up, but I've done that 3 times this week and I can't find the bit that I've mopped up. So I figure I'm just best, you know. All right. So before I do anything else, I'm going to add on my faux stitch around the edge, because that way it's done and I don't have to think about it again. I would like to do the big chunky stitch, but I've actually lost that pen. Nope, that's not it either. Just thought I'd look. I thought if I say I've lost it, it might just turn up in front of me, because that does so often happen on Try It Out Tuesday, doesn't it? I'll say, oh, I can't find this. Oh, there it is. So I will say, if you haven't seen the Catalyst cards before as well, Catalyst card set, especially 1 and 2, are just made from Bee Crafty Stamps and Inkables. So, and using Tim Holtz Distress. So you can coordinate, the coloured ones, you can coordinate really, really well with your Bee Crafty collection and your Tim Holtz Distress colours, because that's how I made them. But when you get into your ledgers, obviously I didn't make those with my stamps or my distress, because that's from an actual vintage ledger. So I held on to for years. I was so excited when I bought it, because I was planning to use it to art journaling, but it had genuine handwriting from 1912 in it, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I chickened out. Yeah, see, the only palettes I seem to struggle with are the ones with red in. I think outside of festive makes, I don't use red a lot, it would appear. So it's the ones with red in I struggle with the most. Weird, isn't it? How some you can just struggle with and others are fine. Really strange. Okay. So we'll put this on here, and then that's done, and we can just add on some more stamping and things like that. Now, if you are a less is more crafter, this is probably already pushing the boundaries of, you know, what you're comfortable with, because it has the background pattern and then all the colours over the top and all this sort of thing. So if you wanted to, for example, just put some words on there or a transparency print or whatever, and that's how you would like to finish it, that's absolutely fine. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I'm really, really not, okay? This is all about bringing together the things I like to use. I'm a more is more crafter. It's more. It's called more because you want to do more. Okay, so I'm feeling like my cracked pistachio. Like I said, I feel like my cracked pistachio mini is sort of fighting for its own existence right now. So I'm going to take some of the cracked pistachio oxide. I'm going to add that in just a few areas. I'm actually going to grab my Dinkable set 2, and we're going to go in with some distressed diamonds, which is also available in a 6x6 if you're looking for a bigger one. But as much as I love my 6x6s, it's my tag sets and my Dinkables that I use every day, because they're just so convenient and I can just place them around, you know. There we go. So that's sort of just like putting the cracked pistachio back where it was supposed to be, across the middle. And then we're going to get, what did I pick out? I picked out my ledger, and I was really good and put the journaling essentials away that I've been using constantly. And I have got out Journaling Essentials 7, which is always fabulous because it has other little minis on here which are so good to use. I'm actually thinking that I should clean them because I think this has got matte medium or something on it. Just give me a second, let me just get that off. But I'm going to start with these little circles here. I think they're really cool, and I'm going to go in. I might do these in several different colours. So I'm going to start with my Mermaid Lagoon. Now, not always, but when I'm stamping over colours on a background, I do like to use my Distress. Because, for example, you can layer a blue onto a red and it shows up. Whereas if you use my Distress Oxide, sorry, but if you use your regular Distress, it doesn't always. So that's why I tend to work in with my Distress Oxides or this bit. However, I don't have many oxides in red, and not in a good red anyway. Red does sort of layer on everything anyway, doesn't it? You can always sort of see your red. Okay, and then let's add in a few of the Dusty Concord ones as well. Just to make sure that dusky purple doesn't get forgotten with everything else. I'm going over the top. But oh, these little circles, aren't they fab? Absolutely love those. Alrighty. Now I'm going to go in with, I think, these little stripes and dots here. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with the VersaFine Clair Black, the Nocturne. It's just such a fabulous black, but it stays wet for a little bit, so I do have a tendency to smudge every now and then. So if that happens, just pretend you didn't see it. You don't have to notice everything. No, it's not necessary. Beautiful. Keep it a little bit uneven. And then I'm actually going to get a bigger Super Skinny Slim and this big leaf here. And now I have to decide what colour to use it. I'm thinking I might go back to some Cracked Pistachio, or do I go in with some Mermaid Lagoon? Let's have a little go here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink up my stamp, and then I'm just going to mist it once. I'm going to go on to this corner here, and then I'm going to do the same again in the top corner. Just mist it once. Oh, I might point it at the stamp this time. It was more than once because, you know, I didn't have me mister pointing the right way. Are you hoping to do another workshop this year? Yes, we are. In all honesty, Moira, story time with Bev, just pause. If you're catching up later and you're not interested, you can fast forward just a minute. It's been a heck of a year already, which is, and I know I'm only saying that on, I think, the 24th of February, maybe the 25th, 24th. But it's been a heck of a year already. But I was actually saying that at the end of January, to the point where I won't get into all the reasons why. But as you know, I've had to miss a couple of Try It Out Tuesdays this year, and I'm going to have to miss next week. It's completely unavoidable. There's just other things that have to be done, and yeah, it's just been a heck of a year. So we haven't had a chance to sort out dates and stuff yet, but there will be another workshop. I've lost my little stamp. It's all right. It's on my block. Don't panic. But we will be. Absolutely. It's something Sam and I really, really enjoyed, and we definitely want to do it again. All right. So I'm moving swiftly on. So yeah, just to catch back in, unfortunately there's not going to be a try out Tuesday next week. Okay, but please keep your eye out on all the socials. There'll be other things going on, of course. So there we go. Right, I'm going to go in with my ledger again with the Mermaid Lagoon, because I think that is just working at the minute. Okay. And there we go. Now, I feel like, even on my more is more theory, this has had a lot happen to it. And there does come a point where you have to just admit, yeah, that's had enough. So I'm going to do one more thing. Maybe two more. If it counts as adding white accents, it's only one more, but I'm going to use two separate implements to do that. Okay, so I'm going to use my white Posca. I'm actually going to get my chunkier one. I like them big. And I'm just going to add in some white dots into the center of these here. I'll be honest with you, my cardstock is not 100% dry, so it might sort of mesh into the ink a little and not really realise its full potential, but that's okay. We don't mind that, because obviously the Lost Shadow, the grey, is a colour on this week's palette. So if it goes a bit more grey than white, in fairness, that works. That does work. Hello, Angela. Hello to everyone else that's joined as well. I'm sorry, I just tended to lift my head up at that point. I will say, Angela, thank you so much for commenting. You comment on nearly everything I put out at the minute, and I do really very much appreciate it. Rachel comments on everything I put on TikTok, so that's great, while I'm trying to rebuild the channel. So everybody and anybody that comments on the Instagram posts, the Facebook posts, things like that, I appreciate you so much, and I do try to reply to everybody, because you took the time to comment, so I want to take the time to reply, because it's so important. You know, just putting out videos and content every day is just, it's not enough for the algorithm to take notice. You guys have to interact too. Oh, I wish it was, because I've been on this put content out everyday drive. I was really sort of applying myself. Now I'm just coming to the end of my 3rd month of doing it, and I have to say I'm thoroughly enjoying myself doing all this making, just really sort of finding my intense creativity again. It's been so wonderful, so thank you so much. Right, so oh, right, and the so, and then so that was sort of organized white accents. So now we're going to go with some not so organized, and we're just going to put some of those on here, and then yeah, and now I have to just give that another waft with the old heat tool, because now I can't do anything with it because it's all wet again. But that's okay. Oh, it's revving itself up. Okay, so you know me, dry enough. So that's sort of where we are on the putting everything together. You can just see all those different elements that are putting that background together. Now, I'm not mental. I do see that this is a lot on a page. Okay, I get it. I totally understand. So don't worry though, because what we're going to do is, this is where my art journaling out of book really sort of comes into its own, because you can feel like that's a lot. I don't know if that's going to be enough, or that's going to be too much, sorry, whatever, potentially. But we're going to try it out first, because all we need to do to test the theory is, mine's going in my book regardless, so you could test this theory before you add a backing, add your double-sided tape, etc. I really need a desktop bin. I'm getting better at cleaning my desk. Like I say, 3 months in of creating at least 3 times a day, and I'm getting better at clearing my desk, but not perfect. The spray was Dilutions White Linen. So I'm just putting a bit of wet ink on there, just for the edges, sort of like a belt and braces. And then I'm going to get my book. Okay. And you see, when you put it in your book, I'm just going to get a piece. Oh, this is one of my signatures that I pulled out. I'm just going to press it flat. Okay, so now it's flat and in the book and it's got its white border. It just looks a bit more focused, okay, which is fab. But again, if it seems a bit much for you, or do you think there's too much of that, if you want to recreate this, absolutely go ahead and just remove that element. That's totally fine. Okay, now we're going to have a look through all the things I stamped and coloured using this week's palette. Okay, so I've done a Dandy Daisy, I've done Blooming Blooms, I've done a sunflower. Obviously, I'm loving doing the sunflowers in weird and wonderful colours. It's really sort of tickling my brain right. Got some mushrooms. Have you got mushroom? I've got lots of room. Sorry. Butterfly. Little birdie. He's pretty cute. He's pretty cute. A flower that comes off the Doodle Art butterfly. And some more flowers. Okay. So there's lots of it. But again, this is very, very intense colour. And I totally understand. So, for example, if you wanted to say, well, no, when it comes to this, I would rather just add black and white elements so that they pop. That does look good too. Okay. Bear in mind, you can do black and white elements with the doodle art as well. It doesn't have to be just the art stamps that you do black and white elements with. Let's not put this guy away. I'm liking his vibes. Okay. So I'm thinking I might put our sunflower in the middle, and I'm going to chop this chap in half. Eep. So this is why I like to have all my elements stamped and coloured. I have boxes and boxes of them. So that's Doodle Art Flowers. Look, they're even labelled. I know. So that's Doodle Art Flowers. Doodle Art Winged Things. And this is how I keep myself entertained of an evening. Okay. When I'm not talking to you. But you're here, so I don't do that. I don't know whether to put that sort of up here. And, I'm thinking, bear with. I'm having a thought process. It's becoming rather painful. Now, see, I think because that's got the cracked pistachio on the bottom of the leaves, it's getting lost slightly. What are those storage containers you're using? Oh, so these ones, these were peel-off containers from a company called xBevx, and they were for peel-offs. But it's where I put all my stamped bits. And I keep all of my pens, etc. in they do A5 one. I don't know if they're still going. A5 ones. Hello from Miami. What time is it in Miami? Is it like 3:30? Is it 5 hours? Is it 3:30? If I know that off the top of my head, I'm going to be really impressed, Annie. Like, really. Right, let's try and actually finish a page, Bev. Stop going on. Right, I'm not sure about that butterfly. I don't know. I'm not loving how it's coloured in. It's just not my fave. Yes, 3:30. Boom. There you go, I've succeeded today. Stay warm when we are. It's not been too bad. Do you know, Annie? Today and tomorrow, it's been quite lovely. Like, right nice. It's been really sunny. And we've got up to about 15 degrees C. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. I'm really sorry. It turns out my skills have come to an end already. Right, I'm just going to put that white one over there because I'm just wondering about layering something behind my sunflower to make the face of it pop a bit. Really, I feel like I need help. Right, no. We're doing the sunflower. We're going to do it higher up. And we're going to go to the creativity words. And we're going to get a piece of white card. And I'm flying by the seat of my pants. I'm just going to go instinct. Oh, look, did I show you? I did my doggy's paw print. It was mixed success, but you know, that's my Lucy. Sorry. Ha. What about a shadow? Yes, that would be fantastic, Rachel. But I have neither the time nor inclination to mask it or stick it on and then re-fussy cut it. You double it and add 30, don't you? I have no idea. I thought that was... No. Let's not add any more thought processes to Bev's brain. She's already struggling. Okay, we're going to go with... On the creativity words... We're going to go with imagination. Absolutely love it when I have it. Okay, so imagination. Oh, did I tell you there's new stamps coming? Shh. There's new stamps coming. But not today. Just at some point. Fun fact, all our stamps are made here in the UK. Fun fact, when I did the order, I accidentally ordered Christmas ones from 2 years ago. And I had to ring them up in a panic. And say, please tell me you haven't started making them yet. And they said, no, we haven't, don't worry. I mean, that's just so Bev coded, isn't it? Woo! Yes, Alison, it is the ones I showed you. And I'm not saying I have favourites, but, you know, Alison will get hers first. You know. I will say, like I say, I'm trying to craft 3 projects a day at the minute. I am rattling through. I'm trying to, because what I've been telling you for years, funnily enough, is actually true. Creativity is not something you can use up. It's self-generating. The more creative you are, the more creativity you have. It sort of self-propels. It self-generates. It's a fantastic thing. So I genuinely feel like I'm doing ever so well with, oh, I'm not going to cut that. Look at that. That's perfectly fits, pretty much, edge to edge. Meant to be. Not a meant to be, meant to be. Okay. Well, exactly, Pippa. You know, it's kind of on theme. Just, you know, wrong season. You try to do one a day if possible and struggling. Annie, honestly, if you're on Instagram or TikTok, or even if you can just stay here on YouTube, my dove, I put something on most days. Most days. I keep a record. And I have been trying to put out, at the very minimum, 4 or 5 reels a week. So that's videos. And then short videos. And then obviously I do Try It Out Tuesday on a Tuesday. And then the design team do blogs with step-by-step photos 3 times a week. And all this sort of thing. So get on and have a go. Follow them. Copy them. Make it your own. That's what they're for. I still get asked. See, look, I'm going to be good. I still get asked a couple of times a week. Are you allowed to basically copy what I make? And the answer is yes. I wouldn't mind you saying, you know, I saw Bev from Bee Crafty do this and, you know, it was pretty good, so I had to go. That would be nice. But if you forget, I wouldn't want you to, you know. Wet glue on the Doodle Art sunflower. It's all jazzed up in its funky colours. But you absolutely can recreate. You did a Halloween Asia palette. Yes, you did. That was cool. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get my small blending mat. No, I won't, because it's got ink all over it. This one's relatively clean. I'm just going to press on that just for a second whilst I just try and get it to take. You can always just put something weighty on it if you're not in a hurry. And no jokes about, you know, weighty things, you know, being like, you know, my leg. I mean, it's not wrong. Alrighty. Sure, I could just zoom instead of trying to balance it on things. There we go. Look at that. I mean, it's a lot. I do appreciate it. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. But isn't it a beautiful lot? It's fabulous. Okay, Pippa. So yes, another, in case you missed it at the beginning, every Monday I put out a colour selection, which is the Bee Crafty palette. And I've been doing this since the beginning of the year, so you can go and have a look. So this is week 8. But you don't have to do them in order. You don't have to do all of them. You don't have to do any of them if you don't want. But if you are struggling for a little bit of inspiration and you don't know where to start, go and have a look at the Bee Crafty palette. Like I said, I'll put that out on a Monday morning. And then a few hours after that, I'll put on the distress colours that I think go with it that I have, and some coloured in images, so you can really see how it goes together. And then there's usually a reel that day of me making something using that palette, so you can see which one speaks to you. You can see which one you think, yeah, I can make something with that. And I think sometimes as well you can look at them and go, I didn't think that one was for me, but seeing it done, yeah, I really, really like it. But do also check out the Bee Crafty creative team on the Bee Crafty blog, because they do step by step, which means you're not rushing trying to follow a video or anything like that. You can just follow the photos and have a go yourself as well. Okay, it looks very cosmic. Oh, it does a bit, Angela. Not intentionally cosmic, but it would work very well with the whole star theme, wouldn't it? I kind of wish I'd got more of the sunflowers now, like I've got a trio. I could always add that in later if I fancied it. I probably won't though, because I'll get distracted making something else. The A5 Super Skinny Slim. See, Alison's with all the tips. She puts those in the blog as well. All right then, my lovelies, thank you so much for joining me. That was so much fun. Now, like I said, I won't be here for Try It Out Tuesday next week. I am so sorry that it's completely unavoidable. Unfortunately, there is just something else that has to happen. And it's not a fun thing. So that has to be done. But there will be, obviously, of course, the Bee Crafty palette on Monday. There will be other reels coming throughout the week. There will be the creative team with showing lots of inspiration. So make sure you are following us on all the socials that you are a member of. You don't have to join any, just, you know, any that you're already a member of. And make sure you like and subscribe on all of those. And if you have a moment, if you can leave a comment on anything either I post or I put out that the design team have made, that would be really, really good, because we're working quite hard. I mean, it's relative. I understand making beautiful crafty things, working hard. But, you know, we are. It's the editing of the videos, you know. That's the bit. But thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your evening. And if you are UK based, we're apparently going to have the nicest day of the year tomorrow. So try and get a bit of vitamin D as well. Bye.